What's up, everyone? I am Wink.
And I'm Skillz.
And this is Scream Cheese. Today we are talking about the film Smile, written and directed by Parker Finn, starring Sosie Bacon, Caitlyn Stacy, Jessie T. Usher, and Kyle Gallner. After witnessing a bizarre traumatic incident involving a patient, Dr. Rose Cotter starts experiencing frightening occurrences that she can't explain. Rose must confront her troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying new reality. What did you think of this movie, man? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Would you see it again? Would you tell someone else to see it?
Yes, I would tell someone else to see it. I really liked it a lot. I was very pleasantly surprised only because I just didn't know what to expect with this film. One of the things I liked about it right off the bat is it got right into it. Some films might take a half hour or longer to establish the world and develop the characters and kind of like get you into this world, and then something crazy happens and the story takes off. In this one, what I appreciated about it was it got right into it, right from the get-go. So I really love that. I love Sosie Bacon's performance. Thought it was excellent. I just found out that she is the daughter of Kevin Bacon, and so that kind of explains where she gets her acting chops from, but she really grounded it for me because as she was descending into madness, I really felt it and I believed it. Also, there was a number of jump scares in this film that actually scared me, and that's the kind of a tough thing because I'm generally the kind of person that doesn't really work for me. The people around me are jumping and they're getting startled, but I kind of see it coming a mile away, and even when it happens, it's like, okay, you're gonna cut to a close-up and you're gonna do a loud sound and it's supposed to overload your senses and make you jolt or jump. Those usually don't work with me. In this case, it worked a number of times. They did a great job. The soundscape in this was so good because I feel like where most horror films take advantage of that, I feel like this film practically mastered it. There wasn't a moment or a scene in this where I didn't feel like the sound in it was just as scary as the visuals. So what did you think about it? I enjoyed it. What did you think?
You pretty much said it all, my friend. I also really liked Sosie Bacon's performance, but I will tell you, one of the things I was so excited about this movie for was Caitlyn Stacy, who I think is an incredible actress. The first time that I saw her act was in All Cheerleaders Die. I'm not sure when I saw it, probably like 2016 maybe. It was after it came out, but I sought out things she was in, and I said that I believe that within 10 years she would get an Oscar nod. So I've been just kind of watching, waiting for her to find her way more into kind of the mainstream. And then when I heard she was in this movie, I was so excited. But then I found out she wasn't the lead, which was like a little bit shocking to me, and it soured me a little bit.
Okay, real quick, dude. I don't want to interrupt you, but I have to know, and maybe the viewers might want to know, who is she? Was she the girl in the opening scene?
Yeah, she was the first patient that sees Dr. Cotter. She doesn't have a huge role. I feel like her performance right in the beginning solidifies, you have Sosie Bacon giving a really great performance, but you have a supporting actress giving a really great performance as well, which isn't always super typical. I mean, I feel like you can sometimes lose some of the quality in your supporting cast, but from my perspective, Caitlyn Stacy is like a leading woman all the way anyway.
Absolutely.
Dude, I thought the jump scares were also awesome. In fact, I am susceptible to jump scares, but in this one, I found myself, I would jump and then I would tingle all throughout my body. It's almost like that feeling when you put something together and you're like, oh my God. So it was a jump scare plus something else. I felt like the whole plot was super compelling. I felt very interested throughout the entire movie. I thought the actual concept was really great. It was executed really well, down to I've explained to you before, these types of movies, specifically this type, when you get into kind of the weird, supernatural, cool, concept-y things, they can really spin out in the ending. They may not know why they're doing it. They may try to justify it. It can get really messy. This one, I felt was tight in writing all the way through to the end, even to the point where it had almost an ending where I thought we were ending, and I was like, oh, these guys wrote themselves into a mistake here. And I was like, this can't be like this. And then they wrote themselves right out of it. And I was like, okay, this is correct.
Yeah.
This is exactly right.
Yeah.
So I was really impressed by that. Yeah, man, I thought it all wrapped up great. Didn't know we were going to get like cool kind of creaturey design. That was great. I loved it, dude.
Yeah, and without ruining the ending, I like where they went with it. I like that they went to that place. This was the ending that would have to happen, and I'm glad they did it the way they did. When it came to like the creature, that was kind of a mixed bag for me. They did it really well. I guess I just wish they wouldn't have shown so much, because to me, it was already working. You can keep it more in the shadows, but it didn't hurt the film. I thought it was excellent. And again, I thought Sosie Bacon, every second, you're watching her, you like really felt for what she was going through. I felt like most of the supporting cast was pretty good. There were a few actors that, like her fiance, was kind of hit and miss for me, and I'm not blaming him.
I would say he was fine and he was effective, except for like the most intense scene they had together outside of their car, which just did not sell at all. He downright had like a poor performance in probably the scene that required the most out of him. I think that you're in a tough spot when you're him, though. It's tough to be the main character talking to him also. Both of those characters are probably having a hard time, because that's the tropiest part of all of this. Of course, when you have someone that's kind of descending into madness as the world is like caving in around them, when they have one person in their life that they're able to talk to and they're struggling to say, listen, you have to understand me, you have to believe me, and that person is going, you're crazy, It's such a device in movies. In the real world, you might be able to find more of the words to explain these things better. The person would be able to hear you better. These are kind of tropey things that I think at this day and age are getting a little bit hard to sell, and I think that might have been some of the struggle with his performance, because I thought he was effective otherwise. I thought there were other scenes where it was like, oh yeah, this guy's totally fine, he's killing it. And then when he wasn't killing it, he was not killing it.
Yeah, and then the other big question is like, what happened to Sweet Little Mustache? We may never know.
I thought that whole scene, we were gonna find out that didn't happen. I was shocked that like we just continued forward.
Again, I felt like it was a very well-written script. I feel like this one is such a tightly knit story that it would probably be a really good read. But anyways, having said that, I definitely think you guys should check it out. I loved it, but I definitely think this is one to see. It's, no matter what, a fun ride. There's really not a dull moment in the film. My score for this will be 7.2.
I am going to give this one an 8.7. It feels weird that like you seem to enjoy it so much, but you didn't score it that great, man.
Yeah, you know why? Because I didn't plan my score ahead of time, and I'm realizing here's the main thing. Your score is totally legitimate. The problem for me is, would I ever watch this film again after seeing it? And I don't know that I would, unless it was with somebody who hadn't seen it yet, because it was so good that everything stuck in my head. There would be no surprises watching it again.
I completely identify with what you're saying, but I would say I would go out of my way to show this one to someone. People are gonna see it. I think not that many, but more people than a lot of different horror. I feel like this one's gonna hit more of the mainstream audience, but I think you'll be able to find people through over the next few years who never saw it, and you'll get to get some jump scares out of them. Also, like 5 to 10 years from now, I'll know I can come back to this one not remembering it so well.
I'm going to upgrade mine to a 7.5. I feel like that's a fair score. I would have no problem if somebody came to me and said, I feel like this is an 8 or a 9, because it's really, really good. It's just, some stories are super good. Well, for me personally, once you've seen them, you're kind of like, okay, I've seen it, So.
All right, well, let us know what you thought of Smile. Did you love Sosie Bacon? Did you love Caitlyn Stacy even more? Let us know in the comments section. Also, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also follow us on Patreon. We put out extended conversations here and there about some of the movies that we talk about, and we would love to have your support. And I guess Skillz and I will see you next time. Peace out, cheesers.
Peace.